like a consulting business about how to make tons of money in podcasting, and you say, David, my friend Mark Cuban, this is a direct quote from you, Sarah, that your friend Mark Cuban told you, do not give away secrets for free. So you and I have talked about this. I think even for $5,000, we shouldn't do it and say, this is how we make our money in podcast. And it's very obvious how you make money, but David and Sarah do.
Well, there's a lot of tricks and tips.
There's a lot of tricks, guys.
Don't know.
So I don't know if the good on Dom.
Mark Cuban also always calls BS. He always says, like, more so to TikTok people. Like, there's always the TikTokers like, I made $40,000 in 1 month, and I can show you how. And Mark always says, if someone's making 40 grand a month, they are not sharing with you how they are doing. If they are really making, Mark says most of these people are full of shit. And if you've made that money, you are not going on for $199 and offering people a program. He says that they're full of shit. So
because 40 grand, what's 40 grand a month times 4 times 12 is what? 480 grand. Okay. Yeah. No, you're not.
They're not. And I will say, you know, I always think, what do I want from the Kardashians now? Like, I want Kris and Kim to like take people's businesses and tell them what they're doing, but they're never going to do that because they give away the playbook, and they're never going to give away the playbook ever, ever, ever. It's like Bill Belichick. It's like all these people that have had tremendous success. They're never going to give away the playbook. And
that's why you and I are not doing our consulting business.
Oh, I would charge, like, you and I have done it, and you should charge even more than me because you've taught me so much, but I would probably do it for like $25,000. If somebody wanted to hire me for $25,000, I would tell you exactly how you can make 6 figures every single year for podcasting. I wouldn't do it for any less. It's not worth, I would never give up my secrets because somebody like, that's why Kris and Kim are genius. Like,
you and I could take anyone out there who's a podcaster who's listening right now, who's making like, I don't know, 90,000, whatever. I'm not saying it's not a lot, but I'm saying I could make
most
you,
podcasters
I can make, right. Whatever you're making, I can make you 5 times the amount of money in podcasting that you're making right now. So could you, if you gave me whatever and you came to my school. But
you have to go. So you'd have to
money,
so much. I mean, there's just no way I'd give away the playbook. But anyway, I did think some other highlights of the weekend. What did you make of? Did you see the clip of Andy Cohen talking about Mary Cosby, and he doesn't know how sustainable her lack of participation is? I thought that was telling. Give me your
man. Well, no, I saw that for a man that's saying like, yeah, like, you know, we're going to see Carolyn Manzo, and then the person's like, when? And he's like, well, I hope we do. And for someone who's like, my heart says I have love for Nene, but yeah, let's keep for all these vague answers that he gives. Well, Ramona, she filmed Roni. We're going to see her for all these vague answers. Yeah, I feel that one was less vague. And he's like, I just don't know how sustainable it is, her lack of participation. I also felt that because he did reference the Z-Way, Mary Cosby appearance on Watch What Happens. And I found him on Watch What Happens during that episode. I do think he gets a little annoyed. Like, I think Andy is, when he says like, look at your 85,000 people, 8,500, you know, I don't want to talk about Bethenny. Let's keep it positive. I don't know how authentic that is, that he really cares about the people and their happiness and entertaining them. I think it really cares about, you know, the children and the paycheck, but I get what he says. Like, I do think it annoys him when you're not like kissing the ring and someone that doesn't want to participate. Like, I think he got a little annoyed with Mary at that Watch What Happens.
I thought that was very telling. Like, I just thought that was very telling. Like, I'm not sure he's here for Mary as much as we are. Like, I don't know. I thought that was very fortuitous. Like, they're not going to put up with the lack of, like, I mean, he just said, you know, how long is it sustainable if she doesn't like any of the women, and it's going to get worse this season? Like, is that something people want to watch? We do. And maybe it will continue. Maybe Andy doesn't have the be all end all say, but I thought that was like a real true moment where I don't think he's as wild about Mary Cosby as we all are. I don't think he's a fan.
And honey, when you say we all, you mean David, Sarah, and lots of other people. But every time we talk about Mary, trust me, the comments on that YouTube, there's a lot of people that feel the same way Andy does that. Like, it's not like it's a landslide. You and me and a lot of people agree with us, but a lot of people are like, why is this woman there? She's rude. She won't participate. Get her the fuck off the screen. So I think Mary is a mixed bag. I think a lot of people feel the same. I thought that was interesting. Yep.
Okay, then I have to ask you about
Ask.
your friend, your
Friend?
close friend Jill Zarin. Mr. Cohen also says that he has receipts that they were invited to Bobby's funeral. Do you have any insight you can share with us? He came on, he goes, I will show the receipts. And Jeff Lewis backed him up and he said there is no way that they were at Ms. Zarin's at Bobby's funeral without permission, because every single person that walked in had to agree to be filmed. There had to be signs up. There is no way that they could have been on the premises or around or filming people without her knowledge. Thoughts?
Well, we all know that I do text with Jill Zarin. So that did happen. And I did have some things to say behind the scenes and reach out to some people. So I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. But I can tell you that I find what Andy says to be incorrect. And I find everything Jill says on this matter to be correct. How about that? How about that for an answer?
Interesting.
I disagree with Andy, and I do not think that is. I agree with Jill on this. I was smiling that you asked this because you're going to get me in trouble, girl. But I really do agree with Jill. So that's my knowledge of the situation. I disagree with Andy on that.
What do you make too of this? Is just coming out from BravoCon that Kelly Bensimon in a panel says that Bethenny called her and asked her to be on the podcast on Just Be. You surprised?
Oh, wow.
Not okay. Thoughts? That's
no. I'm thinking about it. Listen, we'll get into this when we get into Reality Reckoning, but you saw, and this is a very top line in the Vanity Fair article. Ebony said, and fuck Bethany Frankel, meaning like she ain't speaking for me. Like Ebony's she's been in media before Bethany was born. She doesn't need Bethany to speak for her. Bethany then shared a screenshot, which I already saw, of when like Ebony reached out to her from like 3 years ago or whatever. And then Ebony, to say like, oh, she wants me to go fuck myself. Well, why is she reaching out to me? And then Ebony shared the actual real screenshot where, since the Vanity Fair article came out or whatever, or right before, Bethany reached out to her and said, so do you understand what I'm saying? Bethany said, well, she says to fuck me, but look, she reached out to me, which was from like 3 years ago. The date was there. What she didn't include was the bottom part, and Ebony included it, where Bethany then reached out to her like 3 days before the Vanity Fair, before it being like, hey, sorry I didn't see your message. You have a minute to chat? So I believe Bethany, look, she had Jill Zarin, big splash, Bethany and Jill. You had Nene Leakes, big splash. You know what I mean? Like, she sued Bravo. She's against the